Once again, if you can tell us your full name.
My full name?
Your full name, Your birth, okay, you were Donna
Morgan Pace.
Donna Morgan Pace. Okay, so your maiden name is Morgan. All right, and what were your parents' names?
My dad's name was Reuben and mother's name was Rosa.
Okay, and what was your husband's name? Your husband.
Oh, Paul.
Okay, and do you have children?
Yes, I have children. Alan's the oldest, and then Stephen, and then Melody.
Yep.
And then Audria came along, was Alan's daughter.
And Marion.
Yeah, Marion and Melody.
Okay. All right, and have you lived in Saluda for very long?
All my life I lived over in Greenville County till I got married, and then I came to Saluda.
What do you what was your impression of Saluda? I mean, had you been in Saluda a lot before you got married?
Well, I was living with Nell and Claude down. Well, I'd been in Richmond, Virginia. It was a college out there, and I was working out there. I can't think of the name of that thing. It was in Richmond, Virginia, though.
A college? Okay.
I was working out there.
And what were you doing? What were you
doing? I was doing general cleaning and serving tables and.
Okay. So when you came to Saluda, 1940, what was it like? What was Saluda like in 1940?
Well, there's several
like
of
Is it like today? Has Saluda changed much?
Oh, yes.
How has it changed?
Well, Paul and Bill built that building down there. No, Raymond Stephen built it. And then they ran a filling station there. And then they built that building where I think they're selling clothes or something there now.
Yeah, that's where Green River Adventures is there now. Yeah. Is that where she's talking about the service station?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
They built a service station by the bridge too, didn't they?
Yes.
And they built where Green River Barbecue is.
They built that building? What was that building used for at that time?
A bunch of things.
But Raymond Stevens built the filling station.
He did. Next to the whistle stop.
Yeah.
Tell us about your family, the Morgan family.
The Morgan family? Whew, that's a lot of them.
That's what we want to hear.
Well, there was 22 of all of us. Daddy was married twice, and Mother was married twice. But he was 40 years older than Mother. And so, anyway,
Miss Rosa was married before too, and her husband.
Yeah, Summy. And she had 5 children by George Summy. And then she married my daddy and had 7 more. Isn't that awful?
No. And then he had several children, didn't he?
He had about, I believe it was 9 besides that. So.
Have you heard the joke that they said about that family?
No.
They said one day George started hollering and he said, "Rosa, Rosie, come here quick." And she said, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And he said, "Oh, you know what's happening? Your young'uns and my young'uns is beating up on our young'uns."
Oh, me. Oh, okay. So what did you do when you came to Saluda? What did you work?
I did housework, took care of Sheila. You know Sheila?
No, who's Sheila?
Sheila Russell now. She was Sheila.
Emery.
Emery when she got married.
She babysat.
Okay.
Yeah. Housekeeping and babysitting.
Tell her about what it was like to be growing up with your siblings, because I think your stories of growing up, like when you saw the dresses that your mama made out of the flour sacks or something.
well, you used to get flour and printed sacks, and she made some beautiful little dresses out of them.
Flour sacks, feed sacks, cow feed, and stuff come in flour sacks.
Well, the flour sacks were a finer grade of material.
Pretty prints.
But the feed sacks were rougher.
Yeah.
Did you say she dyed them with something? Didn't you say that they had been dyed?
Oh, she dyed the white ones, yes.
What did she dye them with?
Oh, you could buy Putman's dye.
So, what did you do when you were growing up? Did you have a big garden? Did you have to?
Oh, had mountain fields and peach orchards and apple orchards, and between the furrows, we'd have a furrow and then have the apple trees on, peach trees on that, and then we plant corn and beans and peas and everything between the corn.
Wow. And so I bet you had I bet you grew up with your family had a lot of land.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Mother filled every jar she could get a hold of with canned stuff, and she smoked fruit, apples.
Wow.
And dried apples, and we didn't go hungry.
I was gonna say that's some good eating. You're making me hungry.
Yeah.
Now, did you continue the tradition? Did you can as well? And
Oh yeah.
did you garden when you married? After you married?
Yeah, I
Did you
garden that whole house.
You got a garden out
Until
there?
about 3 years ago when she got to where she wasn't able to have it. Has it been 3 years?
Yeah. Well, Marion and a friend had to pick me up and carry me.
Well, now let's talk about Saluda. So talk to me, what's your fondest memory of Saluda?
Oh, I didn't live in Saluda till I was grown and married.
Well, tell me about your happy times of your new marriage and about moving to Saluda and the people you met and what life was like. Did you have a car back then? Did you have a car?
They had cars. They had a
Taxi service.
taxi service, yeah.
Saluda had a taxi service.
Yeah.
Her father-in-law. And did his daddy before him have a dray service?
Yeah. And sold coal,
Wood.
get a car of coal and have to unload it down at the depot and pile it up in the backyard, and then they'd sell it by the tons or the sacks full or whatever. I gave away a sack full of poor people. I'd say, now don't you tell anybody.
But the Lord knew it.
Yeah. But I gave it to poor people. Like, Willie Corn. You don't remember him, do you? You do? And his family, about on starvation.
Well, the Lord will bless you for it.
Well, I don't expect any
Donna
blessing.
has always been a fabulous cook.
What is she known for? What's her best food item? Is it something sweet or is it something?
To me, it was always banana pudding with meringue, with homemade custard.
Yummy.
That to me was the best. Like just warm enough to eat.
Mm-hmm.
With egg whites on top.
With meringue, homemade meringue on top. Yes, most definitely.
Herbert Middleton lived right down there in that little old house, and well, they've redone it since Herbert died. And he built me some shelves. I had some down there, and he built me some shelves, and I always have them full, but I didn't have them full last year.
Well, you've done your part.
But what you did put on the shelves has fed you for these past couple of years. That is what we have, we've been eating those canned goods for 2 years.
And a freezer
for
full.
2 years.
Had two freezers, big
and out of the
5-foot
freezer
freezers.
So
See,
this is what I dug out, because I found this one time. You told me a story that there was a
Oh, a womanless wedding.
womanless wedding. Okay, so this, I don't know what that piece is.
That's the veil
That's the veil.
over the face. But I got a. Oh, this was made for Paul. Had a womanless wedding.
Where did you do that at?
Huh?
Where at?
At the over to school.
At the school?
Paul was the bride, and O.T. Hayes was the
groom.
And just to give you an idea of the size of this man, this is Paul when he was a young man, and that's Mama, and that's
Yeah,
Hazley.
that's Paul's wedding veil.
And this is the wedding veil from the
Alice Johnson helped me make that.
Can you get her to hold that? Or you can hold it up.
from the womanless wedding, and you put it on his head. And, it was
And he's
the wedding
6'6".
Yep.
That's funny.
It took 2 pair of curtains to do that.
2 pairs of curtains.
I had the old curtains, and yeah, that was made for Paul.
We'll donate that.
I love
it. Okay.
And we didn't get any pictures unless Alice got some.
Okay, I can take a snapshot of that.
Yep.
Okay.
What you got, Audrey?
Now,
I
what
just
was
got that picture of y'all riding in the wheelbarrow.
We wasn't married. Yeah, we were. We just got married.
That's Paul, that's Mama.
And that's our old house.
Okay.
That's the house I grew up in there. You can see just a part of it.
Okay. And that's in Greenville County?
Uh-huh.
Is that in Greenville County?
Yeah, just across the lines, Greenville County.
Cindy, I think there's an interesting fact about Paul and Raymond.
Oh, well, let's hear it.
Paul died one week and Raymond died the next. A week apart.
You've told me
I
that.
didn't remember that.
And I think both of Raymond died on Sunday and his funeral was on Wednesday, and I think Paul's funeral was the next Wednesday. But they died in 1962.
Oh,
We had just moved over in our new house, and I went to Fred's to get groceries on Saturday, and Paul took my groceries home. And then the next week he died. He died right around Thanksgiving, wasn't it?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because my grandma
It was,
died around Thanksgiving.
the boys were home from Clemson, and they were in the
That's-
college.
Did they go back to college?
Yeah, but after they went to Clemson, Alan went to Clemson the first year. I don't think Stephen ever went down there, but then they went to Gardner Webb.
I knew some of them went to Gardner Webb.
And then after that, they went to North Carolina. What was the college?
North Carolina State or?
Yeah.
Or, okay. Or Chapel Hill.
After their daddy died, and he had this business of the taxi and selling the things, there were several sons, and they carried on the business. And then they bought a hardware store from the Lauders, right there where the police station is. And then they bought Mr. Clifford's store and moved down there, and Paul ran that store for a long time, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then they built the buildings up in the early 50s up across the bridge. That was a service station. It's now real estate and music. And they built the barbecue building, and barbecue's been restaurants. At one time, Melody had Grandma's needlework. She sold all kind of sewing supplies and different things in that building. It's been several different businesses in that building.
I didn't know Green River. What?
But he built the building, the filling station building for Audria Pace. He just got to live in, do the work
Virgie
in.
had the garage, and the service station was two different buildings.
Uh-huh.
So tell us about some, can you recall any really interesting characters that were around Saluda when you were years ago that stand out in your mind, just interesting characters? that you have any good stories about? Like, some people have talked about Isaac Means. Some folks have talked about Charlie Ward and Robert Pace. And do you have any fond memories of anyone like that?
Oh, Charlie Ward was there till he died, I guess. Or no, he got married and then, well, he did because his wife took over after he died.
That's right. Did you go in there and get you a hug?
Huh?
Did he give you a hug when you come in there?
Everybody. He had to hug everybody.
Him and Jack both.
Uh-huh.
But did you know M.A. Pace before he died?
I knew him after he came back here. I didn't know him before he left.
I mean the daddy, the one that had the store.
Oh, yeah.
Paul was married before he died.
Oh, yeah.
Around when did he die?
I believe it's 1942. He was the first one buried at the cemetery. And if you go out there and look at his
Marker.
on the right, just after you go in the gate, his casket and is turned catty corner. Of course, everybody used to say that you got to face the east.
Right.
And he was first and buried there. And then they decided, no, they need to put them in rows.
Oh.
So it's just them very few that's buried in that
east.
fashion.
Yeah, because my grandfather's isn't situated that way. I guess his is in rows, in a row. Of course, they say all the who's who of Saluda are buried up on the hill. That if you were anybody, you were buried up there on the hill part.
That was the old part because they
That's
made
just because that's who got them first.
well, it was smaller, and then they added more onto it. And down at the backside, I think now they won't let them put up tombstones. They make them put
the flat kind. Which one of the Pace sisters had the beauty parlor?
Boo.
Did you ever have your hair done by Boo? Did you ever have your hair done by Boo?
Yeah.
Did you go upstairs and have it done up there?
Yeah, and then after she quit doing it, what was her name?
Margaret used to do your hair.
Yeah, Margaret did my hair last out here. She did as long as she was here, didn't she?
She did your perms for a lot of years. She had that beauty shop 20 years.
Uh-huh.
So what was it like going in Pace's store?
I didn't go there much.
You didn't go there much?
Donnie stayed home. She didn't get out much.
I stayed home and cooked for a bunch of men. I had about, how many men did I have? About.
Had a whole crew to cook for every day.
Because now this is because of the family business? Or
12 or 14 every day. And they'd come at all different times. They drove taxis and hauled wood in and coal and just when the truck would come in the yard, they'd come in the house and eat.
Wow. And I know when JB worked for them, they'd send him to Spartanburg to get fertilizer in the spring of the year, and he'd go down there and get truckloads of fertilizer and bring it back. And so when they come in, if it was 2 or 3 o'clock, they'd go in and eat.
Is this the same house that we talked about a little while ago, up on Henderson Street? Okay. Who are your neighbors? Who've been your neighbors that played a major role in your life that you'd like to mention?
I was born and raised over in Greenville County, just across the line. Mm-hmm. We had to walk about 2 miles up to the mailbox back and forth. Wow. And so we'd catch a school bus up there. We'd walk up there. Oh, ice and everything was going on. And we'd have to walk all the way up there, catch a school bus. We missed a lot of school too, because it was bad a lot of time. But
did you always go to Saluda school?
Huh?
Did you always go to Saluda school?
No, we had a school over in the country, Piney Grove Country School, and then Mr. Randolph came over there and talked to Paul and got him to let us come to Saluda. So.
Oh, so she came up from there to go to school in Saluda.
They used to have schools all around different communities. Macedonia had one, and then when they got to 7th grade, if they went to high school, they had to come to Saluda.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then they got to go
Yeah.
all the grades going to Saluda after
And
that.
they had, Fort Creek had a big school, didn't it?
Uh-huh.
Did you go to high school, Mama?
I went to high school over in the country.
Have you enjoyed living in Saluda?
Oh, yeah. I met Paul.
Is that why you enjoyed Saluda? Because you met your husband?
Well, I went to work for Nell and Claude. They lived down at the depot. Claude was a railroad man, and he could read. It was a railroad house just across from where some buildings are down there. I don't know who lives down there now. And there was a little country store across over there. And I forgot who it was.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, yeah. What do you remember about Phoebe Sullivan? Do you know who that is?
About who?
Phoebe Sullivan. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, he lived across the street over there, up on that bank.
Phoebe, she was the black woman who...
Oh, Phoebe. I
Yeah,
thought you said Stevie.
The secret
Yeah.
formulas to cure people and could cure you with laying hands. And do you remember anything about her?
Well, I heard about her.
Did you ever meet her?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever go there? I guess you probably never...
I didn't go to her to the doctor, but a lot of people did.
Yeah. Did you ever know anybody that was cured by her?
I don't know of anybody that's cured by her.
All right.
But they believed in her anyway.
Yeah, they did. I heard a lot of people.
And she'd always have a big dinner, cook a whole beef, you know, and invite everybody in Saluda to come, wanted to.
Did you ever go?
No, I never did go.
She invited whites and blacks.
Yeah. And everybody loved Aunt Phoebe just like she was their aunt, sure enough.
That's what I've heard. Did you ever know Ada Means?
Oh, yeah, she lived right up there, just across the railroad up on the hill there where I was staying with Nell and Claude.
She took care of my daddy and my aunt when they were growing up, and then she took care of me when I was little, too. So I have fond memories of her. I think she went to that St. Matthew's Church up there on the hill, and she lived near there.
There was two churches, a black church, one on that over that side of town, one up on the hill above the railroad track up there.
Used to have restaurants over there, and I guess was there a restaurant up on Irvin, or was it just down towards Phoebe's?
It was over on the.
Towards Phoebe.
You turn off, go down there.
By Saluda Inn. Went by Saluda Inn. And there was a restaurant over there, and then there was a black restaurant behind the depot at one time. And when the passenger trains stopped, they would have fried chicken and sandwiches and things and sell it to the passengers. You remember that?
No, I didn't know they did that.
But the black people would have food ready when the passenger trains come.
And there was 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, and then 2 later on.
And then freight trains all the way between. It was hardly ever 2 hours that you didn't hear a train coming up or going down.
Did you ever ride the train?
Yeah.
You did?
I carried Stephen and Al and got on down at the depot down here, carried them. We rode the train up there, and then Paul came and picked us back up and brought us home.
Before they stopped the passengers. My kids, I took them to Hendersonville, but I never did ride it to Tryon. I wished I'd rode to Tryon and went down the mountain.
Oh, I've been to Spartanburg on a train down there.
Do you miss hearing the train whistle?
Oh, yeah, I don't now, but I did for a while. And Melody, she lives up on the bank, you know, above the railroad track, across the road there, up on the hill. And she said that she just listened for that train coming. You could hear them when they left Tuxedo blowing.
Uh-huh.